Hey guys, it's finals time, and I've been cramming in some sweet wins, that is. I made it sound like I was reading that from somewhere, but I wasn't even reading that. So, yep, that's all me, baby. This one's a keeper. We'll go turn 2 Deadly Recluse, turn 3 nothing, turn 4 Primal Hunt Beast, question mark. And then probably a turn 5 Mark of the Vampire, and a turn 6 Zathrid Demon Gorgon. Alright. Plains. Draw a card. I almost clicked the Evolving Wilds. Evolving Wilds is a pretty decent turn 3 play, since we've got nothing to cast anyway. And he's got nothing to cast. So you always get kind of worried when you make it to the finals of a queue, because the person who you're playing against could have some crazy mythic. Like, this guy could have a Liliana, he could have an Ajani, he could have 6 Vampire Nighthawks. Like, who knows what this person had that got them to the finals. I mean, our Primordial Hydra has definitely been doing all the work for us, our sick mythic, the Hydra. Alright, so getting lots of land here. We're going to go ahead and play the Bloodhunter Bat, because we are not going to trade our Primal Hunt Beast for their Servant of Nephrox. And then this way we get some damage in. Servant of Nephrox is a really interesting card because, I mean, it seems good. It's pretty aggressive. It's got 1 toughness though, is the problem, and sure, it can trade with like a Centaur Courser, but sometimes your opponent, like, you'll have a Servant of Nephrox out, maybe 2 Servant of Nephrox out, maybe one of the Knights, and a Tormented Soul, and your Exalted triggers are awesome, and then your opponent just goes, Flames of the Firebrand, or that Chandra's deal 4 damage to you and 1 damage to all your creatures, or there's a Cower in Fear that's played, or, I don't know, a variety of other things. Just, it's tough. It's a tough world to be playing Exalted in. Fortunate enough for this guy, I don't have any of those tricks. And, yeah. So, I didn't attack him with the Deadly Recluse because I am willing to trade my Deadly Recluse for the Servant of Nephrox. And if I attack, and he just takes 1 damage, which he probably would, then he'd be attacking me for 4, and I'm not as interested in trading my 2/2 flyer when he has no flyer on the board for his Servant of Nephrox, when all I have is just guys that could block it. So now his bats are better at attacking me. Like, I can't block his bats with my bats because he's got an Exalted trigger, but now I drew the plummets. And we'll happily swing in because I would still make that trade. That trade doesn't bother me at all. I'm sure he's got other flying creatures in his deck. He's playing white. And we passed Sarah Angels all over the place, so... We got a Sentinel Spider. And that also just blocks the bat. Although, if he attacked with the bat, I would think that there was something going on, and I wouldn't be blocking with the Sentinel Spider. But if he has nothing, he won't attack with the bat unless he's really good at magic. Or if he did attack with the bat, I'd just block with the Deadly Recluse, because I would make that trade. So we're gonna run our Sentinel Spider at him with the bats. Although he played a 5th land and didn't play anything, so I should have seen that. I should have played around this. This was a bad play on my part. Yeah, I really should have seen the Divine Verdict coming. Alright, we'll play the Primal Hunt Beast. And we'll pass it back. So, the question is now, am I willing to trade my Primal Hunt Beast for the Servant of Nephrox? I don't know. I don't know. It's really holding me back with just 3 cards. It's kind of annoying. It's a Divine Verdict, a Servant of Nephrox, and a Blood Under Bat. And I can't push in. But I've only had... he's only seen 1 extra card than I've seen. This is all pretty standard stuff, I think. Okay, double Exalted Trigger. Which I think is enough of a reason to plummet this bat. I mean, I could block with the Recluse, but I think that the Recluse could just kill anything. And the plummet might not. But I do block with the Recluse anyway. Just to see if he's got tricks. Because I could always plummet in response. And he does have a trick. And so we plummet. Once in a while, I am capable of a semi-decent play. This murder surely spices things up. I mean, I could have murdered the Servant or the duty-bound dead there, but I don't think it was worth it. A very timely Essence Drain. And we have a Rancor. Throw that Rancor on the Hunt Beast. I think this is my biggest misplay of the entire tournament. Not putting the Rancor in the Primal Hunt Beast, but I don't know. Let's see if you can guess what happens in this situation and what I do and what I should have done. So pause the video, guess what happens, and think of what I should have done, and then think of what I did. And you probably figure out this misplay. So, yeah, that's what happens. I don't murder the Servant. I decide that my murder is better than my Primal Hunt Beast because I get my Rancor back, I still deal my trample damage, and I still keep a murder in case he plays anything of value. I can always throw a Rancor on my Insect and it'll get through for 2, and then I'll have a Rancor and any creature becomes a huge threat. And then there's this play as well, like I just draw land, and then I might as well throw the Rancor on the Deadly Recluse and push in, but should I even be pushing in at this point? Is it worth it? Sure, I get to deal 2 damage to him and kill his War Priest, but is that even good? Like, I was so unwilling to trade my Deadly Recluse for their Servant of Nephrox, and now I'm so willing to trade the Recluse for the War Priest of Thune just because I can deal an extra 2 points of damage when he's at 8. This doesn't seem good, and I mean, I still think that it's better than murdering the War Priest and going in for 3 with the Spider, but it's not much better than that. The play is not good. I should just have not even played the Rancor, just kept the Spider untapped and passed the turn. And then I could murder the Prowler, but again, I'm so concerned about my lack of options, and I'm at 19 life. I could take 4. and just save the murder. There's got to be something better than a Prowler, and I'm bound to draw something soon. Because with a Rancor as well, you put a Rancor in a creature, the guy can chump block, then you can kill the creature with the murder, and then the trample damage will go through, and if it's 6 damage, I win the game. At this point, I decided that taking 8 damage from the stupid Prowler is too many damages. Too much damage! I can't be damaged this much from the stupid Prowler. I should just use the murder. Or else that guy's gonna go all the way. Like, that's not worth it. And he only has 2 cards in hand. It could be 2 lands. Like, it could be the same situation that I'm in. But then he plays Liliana Shade, and like I said before, this is the best case situation for a Liliana Shade. There's nothing on the board. Your opponent just played a murder. Alright, so we got a Sign in Blood. We got something. Let's see what we draw. A land and a Force Mage. We can play this Force Mage out. Because it's better to have a creature in play than not. Want to threaten something with that Rancor. I don't even really know what I want to draw here. Primordial Hydra, yes. That is what I want to draw. Primordial Hydra. Because it is easily the most elusive card in this deck. We have yet to see it. We haven't drawn it. We have no idea if it's even in this deck anymore. It's our sweet, sweet mythic, and we don't get to play with it. It's so sad. Look at this guy making the black-white deck work. So it's a sad state of affairs. I mean, we can't really complain about having too much land, because he's in the same situation as us. He drew a lot of land this game too. It's just that he got the Liliana Shade. And we wasted a murder on the Prowler. I don't know how different we could have done things, or if, like, maybe not attacking with the spider would have changed a lot, or not playing the murder when we did, if that would have changed things. I don't know. Playing the murder earlier on the creature that the Hunt Beast was being blocked by, we'd still have a Hunt Beast. Maybe we could have put away this game, but I don't know. I put the Rancor on the Yivas Force Mage to block the Liliana Shade because it requires him to then tap more mana. And then it's less likely he can play something crazy. So we're at 7, we still have 1 turn, we can... Every time we draw a creature we can chump block. So... But next turn we won't be able to do that. Again, I put the Rancor on the Arbor Elf so that when we chump block the Liliana Shade he can... he has to tap more mana. And this game slipped right through our fingers. We had it. I feel like we had it. It feels like we had it, doesn't it? And I think with a combination of unfortunate draws mixed with poor playing, this game just fell apart on us. But you know what? This is only 1 game, you guys. So even if we play the Baloth, we're still going to take 4 damage, so we scooped up. This was just 1 single game. We still have two games ahead of us. You know, 1, maybe 2. If we win the next one, we have another one. Alright, let's take a quick look at this deck and see if there is anything we can do to make it better against his deck. Maybe put in a Liliana Shade over something that's not doing any work. What is not good against him? I don't know. I don't know. We're just going to submit. Maybe. Mind Rot. I'm considering Mind Rot because the 3 drops are really low. But no, I do it. I just play it as is. Well, there's our Primordial Hydra. And we gotta ship it back. This looks really good though, so I can't complain. And we get to start as we lost. Alright. Off to the swamp versus plain start. Excellent. Turn late as always. Tormented Soul. It's better that he showed up at all though, right? Like, we could just be thankful for that. Next turn we got a Vampire Nighthawk. Or we could have played the ring. You could play the ring and equip to the soul, but I think by playing out the Nighthawk, we deal more damage, provided they don't deal with the Nighthawk or or play a creature that we wouldn't want to swing the Nighthawk into, like a Nighthawk. Okay, so he plays a 1/1 Crusader of Odric. And we're definitely not afraid of pressing in here. Like, we're not going to block that Crusader, even if he ends up playing a creature or two creatures or no creatures. There'd be no situation where we would block that Crusader with the Nighthawk. And we'll deal an extra 2 damage, because I like guys that come into play and deal 2 damage to my opponent. Those guys can play for my team any day of the week. Okay, Primal Clay, he'll play his 4-mana Centaur Courser or his 4-mana Windrake. 4-mana Windrake it is. And we're not going to make that trade. Because we can offer him a trade or not offer him a trade. I don't know which is better. I think not offering him the trade, because we have the ring, and so it just makes it a better creature this turn. Actually, I think the play is to put it on the Tormented Soul, and then the Tormented Soul gets bigger, and then next turn I could put it on the Bat, and then he still can't block the Bat because the Bat can regenerate, and now my Tormented Soul is dealing 2 damage a turn. So he gets his Liliana Shade out, but we're still gaining 2 life a turn every time we attack successfully, and he would have to... It doesn't make sense for him to tap out to pump his Liliana Shade and not play creatures to pump up his Crusader or Odric. Like, this is what I mean by when I said that this format is super mana intensive, because not necessarily for activation costs of things, but even though there is that as well, but like, you need to be playing creatures for white, for Crusader of Odric, and for that the one that gets you 2 life every time a creature comes into play, and the other one that the Griffin that gets +1/+1 every time a creature comes into play. Like, you want to be playing things constantly every turn. There's incentives for playing spells. Plus the rings, you want to play the rings, equip the rings, change that around, regenerate your guys. Like, it's a lot of reliance on mana, and not just for casting spells. So things are getting a little crazy on his side of the board. But I mean, I'm at 23. Things are looking good for me still. Like, and if I draw a land, I can publicly execute somebody, make an example out of them. I'm gonna go fetch a forest. Not that it matters. Alright. So we didn't draw a land. We can't publicly execute anybody this turn, but we can play a we can play a Sentinel Spider to slow things down a little bit. I misplayed there, though, because the previous turn I should have probably moved the ring to the Tormented Soul. I should have moved the ring back to the Tormented Soul so that it would get that +1/+1 counter, and then he could only block one of the two flyers, and then he would take 5 damage and die. So we gave him a turn that we didn't have to give him, but I don't know what he could possibly do to get out of this. So the trade is offered, the Liliana Shade for the Spider, if they decide to tap all 3 of their swamps, which is good. I'll take that. It means that they're less likely to be able to cast anything else. Like, what I'm expecting here is a safe passage for this turn. I'm at 8. That would kill me provided I didn't have any other plays, but I do have the Public Execution, which is going to be my own safe passage if he has a safe passage. I consider not attacking with everyone, just to leave some guys up if they do have safe passage, but then I just say, you know what, whatever, let's put them all in. And it worked out. So we move over to game 3. And just auto-submit, because that time the deck was super hot, so let's run it hot like that again. Look at that, I got a triple smelt in the board. Triple smelt. People do not value that card very highly in this draft, or in general. Do you think Smelt is better than Crush? Crush was way better, I think, in the limited format that it was in, because it killed all the germs, killed the equipment, and killing the germ with it. As well as, I mean, there were a lot of equipment, there was a lot of artifacts in that set. So even though Crush said target non-creature artifact and Smelt just says target artifact, still think that Crush is better. Alright, so at the time, this hand is definitely keepable. We just need 1 land to get out our Yeva, and Swamp gets us our Nighthawk. We'll run out the rats. We get to see what they don't value very highly. Alright, so they're not going to be hit by the rats, basically, is what they're saying. Although, I think that card's not very good. The Vileborn Ghoul. Alright, my opponent's playing zombies. Yay, I drew my second black for my turn 3 Nighthawk 2 games in a row. My opponent must be like, what the hell? I apologize to you, sir, for drawing as well as I have been this game. Still, though, I haven't seen that Primordial Hydra. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I think this is maybe the first time I've seen Yeva, even. But how can I complain when I see my Vampire Nighthawk like almost every game? So might even be better than the Yeva. And we're gonna trick our opponent here into walking into the Yeva. I'm okay with this because it requires them, if they have a trick, Yeva will just trade with their trick, and they will lose their entire turn. I think that I maybe should be blocking the zombie, because no, it doesn't really matter which one I block. Because if he had Rise from the Grave, it's better for them to get back the zombie than the War Priest. However, the only enchantment of mine that they would be able to destroy is a Rancor, which comes back to me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Alright, we're going to put these guys in. These guys are going to go in, and then we're going to play. We're going to trick them into walking into our Sentinel Spider. I don't know if they're going to fall for it this time, though. Our opponent might want to double block our Yeva. Okay, Essence Drain on the Nighthawk. That takes care of that problem. We're gonna throw our spider out there anyway, because it doesn't matter. I'll attack with one of these guys. What I should be doing is putting that Ring of Zathrid on the Sentinel Spider so that I can regenerate it. Oh no, because I want to be playing my bats this turn too, so. And I'd be more than happy with trading that spider for both their guys. Getting their flyer off the table so that when my bats come into play, they'll have a lot of room to swarm. Right, go back up to 20 and knock them down to 11. Might as well play out the ring. I didn't attack with Yeva there because that trade I'm less interested in making, I think. Although, at this point, the spider's better than Yeva is. Because I've got nothing else in my hand. Got no way to trick them into anything, so. Yep. Sounds about right. So we're going to put that on our bat. What I should be doing is putting it on Yeva, attack with Yeva, and then move it over to the bat at the end of after the attack. But I was considering just trading Yeva for both those guys, and then I decide against it at the last minute because I just think that it's holding them both back, and I've got control of this game with the ring. Because even if he kills the vampire, then I can move the ring over to the rats. Things don't look that bad for me, so I just choose to let it roll. Let it ride. And so my opponent blocks, I regenerate. Even if they have another trick, I can regenerate again. It's not a big problem. Okay, so he wastes the Cower in Fear. That felt like a bit of a waste. That card's quite good. He killed the rat. So, maybe it wasn't a waste. It fogged, killed my rat. Just decided to push in with the bats again. What I definitely should be doing here, I think, is moving the ring over to the Yeva so that Yeva could block the ghoul. But I'd rather take 4. I mean, I'm at 20. I could take 4 damage, and then my back can have another counter. I'm okay with that too. Because he's at 8. 4 is like the magic number. I mean, 8 would even be more of a magic number than 4, but we can't have it all. Okay, so we will press in for 4, and then we'll move that ring over to our sweet legendary green creature so that I can block either Odric or the 4/1. And then he plays a swamp before attacking. I don't know why he would do that. The swamps are good for the ghoul. No attacks. Gotta put that ring back on our bat before we attack with the bat, just in case he's got something like a Divine Verdict or any sort of combat trick or anything. We're gonna go in. And our opponent could just block here with their bat. But they don't. So I guess they have some sort of a trick. Yep. Alright. Our opponent tries to Divine Verdict. We're just going to regenerate. And it becomes even more tapped than it already is. All damage is prevented, and it is removed from combat. And then we're going to move the ring over to Yev instead of just playing a Sentinel Spider. I think it's better. If we played Sentinel Spider, we wouldn't be able to regenerate anyway. And our opponent concedes. So it was a 4-3-2-2, and we won it. Thank you all for watching. Please vote for me if you like this, because the mtgnoob.com is where it's at. It's the place to be. So don't worry about signing up to the forum, because once you're there, you're going to want to be there all the time. Alright, thank you all. Bye, guys.